Hey guys, welcome back to Screen Syndicates. My name's Anthony. That's Pate, and we have a special guest today, and his name is Sam. Die-hard Star Wars fan, expert in all the knowledge, anything you need to know. Just kidding.
Expert.
We want to bring in a third perspective. He's a good friend of ours, but a more casual fan who's just watching the show and giving you what he's taking from the show. So I just wanted to give that as a preface to anything he says, so we can get that back and forth going as a little teaser there. So getting into it today, we are breaking down episode 9 and 10 of Maul. Absolute bangers. And we're going to dive right into full spoilers, no spoiler free. We're just going to get right into it. But first, let's introduce each other. Pate, how we doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. We got Sam here. I'm excited. We had a great 2 episodes of Maul. In my opinion, they were phenomenal. I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts on it.
Love to hear that. And Sam, how we doing today?
Great. I appreciate you guys having me on. First guest ever. It's a big honor for me.
Absolutely. Like when we
Anytime.
get like Mark Hamill in like 20 and like 5 or 20 episodes, something like that, we can always look back and be like, we had Sam Griffin as our first guest. You know what I
We
mean?
have humble
I,
beginnings.
I was the first one asked. I wasn't going to say no.
All right. So let's start off with first simple ratings. I want 2 ratings from you. I want ratings out of 10 of Maul episode 8 and 9. And then I want ratings out of 10 for Maul as a season. So Pate, we'll start with you. What are your ratings?
Shit, I'm 10 out of 10 for the last 2 episodes, and I think I'm a 9 on the overall season. I had so much fun with the season. I loved it, and I didn't have high hopes going into it. I think that's why I'm so high on it, because it just like exceeded my expectations by far.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And Sam, where are you at?
So I think I'm going to be a little bit different here. So episode 9 for me was a 7. I won't lie. There's too much of the kid. I wanted more Maul, but episode 10 was a 10. And then the overall season, I think I'd go 9. I'd like to see what they do on season 2.
Interesting. All right. So I'm similar. I give episode 9 and 10 a 9. And I think I lean towards you, Sam, more where episode 7 was a little less, but episode 10. So I'd probably go 8 for episode 7 or 8. Yeah. And then for episode 9, and then a 10 for episode 10, and averages out. And then for the whole season, I'm going to go with an 8.5. Really liked it. And to your point, Pete, the expectations, I didn't expect much, but then it really did kind of live up or exceed. So that's why we all had pretty monster scores there. So getting into that, let's get into the episode, starting with episode 9. We start off with Dryden Voss. Did you guys know who he was? The guy with the scars on his face that was coming for the rendezvous?
No, to be honest, I had no clue. I was kind of surprised on bringing this guy in. I figured he was probably in something that I didn't watch, like Clone Wars or some other show that was Star Wars related, but I really don't
Mm-hmm.
remember him or knew who he
He
was.
he was a character in Solo, the movie. So I took me a second to realize, but I didn't like know if most people would know who he was, but he was pretty small. But they come up with this rendezvous. They have the whole episode's themed around unlikely allies. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. They team together, and you get like some little action scenes, but really the whole episode builds up to this one main battle underground around the acid where they have to get across one at a time. So just going through, Sam, what you think of that final scene of episode, not the final scene, but the main battle scene of episode 7, them fighting those Inquisitors? What you think there?
I thought the battle was really good. I like the way like his Maul kind of loses everybody right there, where like his
Mm-hmm.
brother gets shot, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna take these 3 guys out, and it's me as well." And you can kind of see like Maul. I feel like he got more hatred as he saw it. Like he realized he was losing everybody. And then
Mm-hmm.
the one thing that really stuck or hurt was with the robot guy, when
100%.
one of them throws the thing and he gets cut in half, and as he's falling down he's just like, master, and he just falls right into the acid and dies. I think that one hurt the most for me.
I 100% agree. That robot Loki was like one of the best characters of the show, in my opinion. Elite
Oh
droid.
yeah.
But Pete, what you think of that final little battle scene there?
Dude, I think it was some of the best like fighting that we've seen in an animated Star Wars show yet. Just when they first did, like everybody turns on their lightsaber and they're just staring at the hallway, and it just does the low shot of them sprinting in hella fast.
So
And
fast.
dude, I just thought that was sick. Like it's normally like when two Jedi's fight or uh a Sith and a Jedi fight, it's like some build up. They stand there, they stare at each other. They just came in hot, sprinting, and it was straight into action. And my favorite shot is when it was all their blades clink together, and it's like just that 1 second shot of them all
Yeah.
right there. I love that part.
Can I ask
wrote
you guys
that.
a question on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before the two Inquisitors show up, why is the Jedi Master able to sense it, but Maul isn't?
That's a good question. I think it's more of, I think the master is more in tune with the force. So he could sense the dark side of the force coming. And so he sensed that. Because you could see Maul pick up on the master picking up on it. But
Yeah.
that's a good, because I thought Maul was going to sense it too and run out there. But that's a good point.
It was just him who turned around. He's like, oh, something bad's gonna happen. Whereas like, I don't know, obviously like Maul is the focus of the show. He's supposed to be the leader, and it's like, oh, this guy has to be the one who saves it.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just didn't know if there was a specific reason.
One of my favorite lines in these episodes where someone was shitting on the Jedi Master and Maul was like, "Put some respect on his name. He's a Jedi Master." And I was like, "Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
That
that
one
is
was
cool.
pretty interesting." So then the shot, like you said, Pay, I had that written down of all them fighting. That was sick. Like that was awesome. The battles were awesome, and they were going back and forth, blah blah blah, blah. And then they all go one at a time. I thought that was pretty cool. And it reminded me of like Mustafar in episode 3 when they were standing on like the pads on the lava, except this time it was like acid.
Yeah.
So they get across and they get outside. You have a second to breathe, and then there's the horror scene when she gets sucked. The Mandalorian gets sucked right into the forest. To the question to either of you guys, did you know right in that moment who it was?
Yeah, absolutely.
I had no clue.
No clue.
Because the two Inquisitors were like, oh, let him know he's coming that way, and I was like, well, that can only be one person.
Yeah, that is true. And as you guys know, if you're an avid watcher of our pod, you're seeing clips now. We talked about it last week. Is Vader going to show up? And it was on the money. I said I don't think so. Peyton said yes, and boom, it happened. And we get Vader walking up. You get the breathing, and probably top 5 like little cliffhanger I've ever seen in an episode, where I've never clicked that next episode button so fast where I just was like, I got to see what happens next. So then go ahead, Tim.
Oh, sorry. If it wasn't going to be Vader there, to your point, who would you have liked to seen there?
That's a great question. If it wasn't Vader, because I know me and you have talked about Palpatine where I thought that was unrealistic, but I said it last time. Vader is the option. I said if I was Palpatine, I'm sending my top dog. So I don't think there was another option for an alpha there. The only other thought is another Inquisitor, but it doesn't really do that for me.
Right.
Do you have anybody else in mind?
No, I didn't. I just didn't know if because for me the Inquisitors, right? They're not in any of the shows I've watched or the movies, so they've been new to me. So I didn't know if there was like an alpha Inquisitor per se who could have been there.
Gotcha. I think there is a Grand Inquisitor. I haven't watched a ton of stuff with the Inquisitors. They're mainly based in Rebels, and I didn't really watch that. But something of note, did you, I don't know, Pete, if you know this, those 2 Inquisitors are in Rebels. Do you know anything about their ending?
So it's funny you bring this up because like probably an hour before we're shooting this pod, I watched a clip of the one with the bird mask. I can't think of what that Inquisitor's name is.
I think it's sixth brother or 11th brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is something like that. And Ahsoka comes up to him, or he's looking for Ahsoka, and then Ahsoka comes in, no lightsaber, takes his weapon, shuts it off, takes it from him, and kills him in 1 second. Like it was literally that fast. I was like, no way. This dude is so menacing and such a strong fighter in Maul to get shut down by Ahsoka in 2 seconds. For granted, she's trained by Anakin, but still.
Yeah, so I guess even the other one too got bodied by Ahsoka in Rebels.
Really?
Yeah, so people were just talking about like the whole power scale of does that shit on Maul? Is Ahsoka just that powerful? Because Ahsoka, I guess, put up a good fight against Vader and Rebels. And again, I didn't watch Rebels, but it was just an interesting power dynamic with that.
Oh, and I got one
'Cause the-
other thing I wanted to add. You said it was like Mustafar where they were jumping across. I
Mhm.
guess they also were playing the music from that Obi-Wan and Anakin fight during that scene.
That makes sense. I love that.
just to go back to
No, I
the
thought that
two
was
Inquisitor
awesome.
deaths real quick, because for me, like I've never seen Ahsoka, and I didn't really know who she was until I watched the two deaths. And like you talked about the power dynamic, because they put up a great fight against Maul every time,
Mhm.
and then to see them just get killed so quick, like it makes me wonder. I'm sure we're going to talk about it later, but what they'll do in season 2 if they bring her in, or how that'll go down.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as you said, like if they do fight, it just seems like Maul would just get destroyed.
100%. It seems to go Vader, at least living in this little universe. Vader and Ahsoka's the clear two, and then there's a gap to because if she's bodying those Inquisitors, I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed in Maul's performance against the Inquisitors. I expected a little more out of him, if I'm being honest. I don't know. Did you
Sure.
guys feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like you see, like thinking of Phantom Menace Maul, where he's
Mhm.
fighting Qui-Gon Jinn, which is arguably like trains Obi-Wan, one of the best Jedi that we know. And he's holding his own against both of them, kills Qui-Gon, which essentially is the reason Anakin becomes Darth Vader. If we like
Mhm.
think about him not having the training over Anakin, I think he probably would have sensed and realized the path he would have went
Mhm.
if Qui-Gon's alive. So, and he had such a great fight against these super powerful Jedis, but he can't take on two Inquisitors that are supposed to be like nothing compared to Jedis.
Yeah. That
The
that
other
that
question
felt
I
that
got
way.
on that is so Maul obviously has the mechanical legs. So why is every time like an Inquisitor hits it, he just can't move anymore? Why is he feeling that?
I kind of felt the same way because like Vader bodied his legs a couple times, and you could tell he was in like severe pain. Um, but I think I missed. It was in Clone Wars where he did the whole got the fake leg situation. But I was also a little confused by that as well.
Oh, I got a
Uh,
point for that. I was watching something recently, and it said because even in I think it's episode 6 of like the actual movies, where Luke gets shot in his fake hand, and he still feels it, like you see him go or something like that, and it's because like it's robotic, but it's also got like skin on it. Because I don't know if you remember, like when they were
mhm.
working on his hand, it's like still skin. I don't know if that's the same thing for Maul, but I just know
Mhm.
like seeing the robotic arms and stuff in Star Wars. I guess somehow they still feel it.
Right, they still have nerves in there because it would frustrate me. Like he gets hit in the leg and it's like he starts limping. Because I think you saw that at least at the end of 8 where he's limping through the tunnel.
Uh
It's
huh.
like
Mhm.
that's not your real legs. Like I don't understand how this is hurting you.
Yeah, like it should hurt the other person essentially
Yeah.
for
Right.
kicking it.
No, I thought that's a great point, Peyton, with the Luke, because you're right. When I do think of that, I had a question. So at the end of episode 9, Vader shows up, and there's a little reaction by Maul. I saw some theories online. Do you think he had any sense at all that it was Anakin?
No, I don't think so.
None.
I think later. I think in the next episode, I think he starts to put it together because at that point I don't think he knows truly how powerful he is until obviously they start fighting and he's like, oh my god, this guy's a beast, just taking on all of
Mhm.
us, one hand just shitting on him.
Yeah. So,
He
because
says a line. I don't want to jump it, obviously we'll get to 10 because he says a line in 10 that made me really like start thinking about it. I'm sure you guys picked up on it as well when I think they're running through the temple.
Yeah,
is
I think I
it?
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. We can get into it now because we'll start off with. So even past that point, we get some great fight scenes. starting off with episode 10, we get Vader showing up and we get some battle. The biggest takeaway I got was just how effortless Vader was. You could just tell he is a true master. Interesting point that I didn't realize in the Star Wars lore, I think Vader's 23 at this point in the age scale, which I was pretty shocked by. So it's like young Vader. You don't really think about it like that. So he's kind of in his young prime. But we get that first fight scene. So, Sam, what do you think of that first fight scene? And then to the point you brought up earlier, that discussion Maul has after.
Because I thought the first fight scene was really good. It wasn't as good as the second fight, but it kind of sets the scene for what's about to occur. It felt like the only option he had was to run. And I think we talked about this, Ant, before, whereas like they might meet and then there's going to be like that cheesy getaway. And I thought that's what they were going to do to us. And it
Same.
was just going to be like, oh, he's got away. Like you're going to have to wait till the next season to actually see him fight.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Me too.
And then to go to that line, like for me, I always thought like Maul knew who Vader was. Like he knew Palpatine picked up a new, I guess, apprentice. So then when he drops in, like that's not an Inquisitor. It's like, wait, you don't know who Vader is. So
Yeah.
to me, it makes it seem like he's so disconnected from what's actually happening in the Empire.
Yes, and I had that kind of revelation in Obi-Wan when I realized Obi-Wan didn't know Vader was Anakin. So like this was like a realization that took me a while. Like I didn't realize it for a long time that no one in the universe knew Vader was Anakin. Everybody just assumed Anakin was dead. So everybody out there just thinks Vader is a new guy, Darth Vader. And they don't realize that's why he's so powerful. Because a line I really loved that Maul was talking to the Jedi Master, trying to convince him to use like rage because he was like, whoever this guy is, he knows how Jedi fight, and we have to do something different. And it made me really think of Anakin. Why he was such a Jedi killer as Vader is because he is the true. I guess Count Dooku was this too, but he was a Jedi, so he knew the Jedi ways. So when he fought against them, he knew exactly what they were doing. But off of that, Pete, I wanted to hear your thoughts on that first fight scene and Maul's reaction and everything.
No, I think it was so great. I thought they were gonna just do essentially like tease us with a quick fight, them get away, and like Sam said, come back next season. But I'm so glad, like it truly showed how menacing he was, and I loved that before he even showed up in episode 9, where it sounded like a monster, like growling and people getting like
Yeah.
it didn't sound like obviously just like Darth Vader, but I loved how menacing they made him sound and just the ease of just one hand going through all three of them. And then when they get away and then see him coming, just like the pure terror on their face, it just they did such a great job of portraying like Darth Vader as like this ultimate badass. And to your point where we didn't realize that nobody realized that Anakin's Darth Vader and this guy essentially exists. I think that's why they have all these Inquisitors, is to kind of like keep them. I don't know if it's a secret or just these higher powers where they're not going to do all this like grunt work.
Yeah.
Because nobody really knew that Anakin is Darth Vader. They all thought he died or didn't think that would ever happen to Anakin, just assumed he died in Order 66. I imagine.
Because everyone there died that saw Anakin before he turned into Vader. So that was interesting.
Oh, and it was cool to think this is probably the first time that Maul has been in the same room as Anakin since Phantom Menace.
Yeah. And I think the time jump is 15 years. I think it is from Phantom Menace to where it is now. And I just saw like funny memes where it's Maul riding on the cart trying to run Anakin over in episode 1. It's like you never know where you'll be 15 years later.
Yeah.
He's getting bodied by Vader. But that whole dynamic was super interesting. And like Maul kept saying he's different. And then we get that first fight scene, and to your point, when they brought down the rocks, it was exactly like Obi-Wan the show. And I'm like, oh God, like we're not going to see him. But that jump scare the second time, I actually like jumped out of my seat. I didn't see it coming at all when he bursted through the wall. and started fighting them again.
Yeah.
Did I get you guys too, or is that just me?
Oh no, it got me for sure. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, no, that was good. The next thing I want to talk about is the second fight scene. So they're on the bridge and they're all battling, and you get that moment where you can see Maul thinking long term, where he wants to get, I always forget her name, Devin. He wants to get Devin on his side, so he pushes the Jedi Master and all that. Sam, what you think of that second fight scene on the bridge?
So when they get into the second fight scene, I saw a lot of things saying like, oh, it made Maul kind of look weak. But I actually didn't think that, because anytime I've seen Maul, like from Phantom Menace to, I guess, this entire show, like he's not a power, I guess, fighter. Like I would say he's way more finesse. And also
Mm.
in Vader, he looks like he's over 8 feet tall. Like he's twice the size of Maul. So him
Yeah.
to kind of like body Maul, like I don't see that as like a huge negative in like his character. He never stood a chance to begin with. But the flip of when he hears Devin screaming for the Inquisitor and he looks at the Jedi Master, and he's like, oh, he's got no chance to beat him. For him to just, hide and take off and then kind of peek through like that little window of like, oh yeah, you're gonna see him die, and then you're gonna use the rage that I need you to use. Like that was such a cool like turning point for me.
So the moment that I agree with you, Sam, where Maul left him, it was like a turning point for the character as well, because throughout the series you found Maul super likable. And then when he did that, he went back to the villain Maul. And yes, he knew he wasn't going to win, but he didn't have to do that Jedi Master dirty. And as a viewer, you realize like, okay, Maul isn't the good guy. And it just turned that point to me. Is that also kind of like what you thought?
Yeah, and it just made me realize too, like he's very ahead, like thinking wise. Like he knew he
Mm.
was never gonna physically dominate, Vader. So he's like, okay, how can I use my knowledge that I've obtained of all these years to give my best chance to then take him on later? And he knows he's got to make his apprentice equally as strong as him to have a chance.
Mm. And then Pate, what do you think of that little final battle?
No, I like to add on everything that you guys were saying. I love like throughout the episode, Maul is like trying to convince them that you guys
Mm.
need to tap in with the dark side is like the only way we're gonna stand a chance. And then to see it like slowly progress to what we saw Devin at the end and him giving that push, because like you said, it kind of feels like Maul's been like the good guy essentially throughout this whole show. Not at the
Mm.
beginning, but like more towards the end, you're kind of riding with him and can see him as like the good guy. And then he does the little push for the Jedi, which I don't think was necessary. I think it just really adds to he is the bad guy, because he could have
Yeah.
just turned around. That guy, Daku was toast no matter what.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because the only person that saw that was Lawson,
I saw that as well.
because he was looking out and then he saw him do that, but nobody else saw that, and it gave him enough time to get away. And like you said, Sam, he's 10 steps ahead, so he
Mhm.
knew how this was gonna go on.
And then I loved when the Master was fighting him, and Vader is like, I wanted to say toying with him, but you could tell he's not like balls to the wall. And then as soon as he connected with him one time, he was just like, it's a wrap, and he just started bodying him.
Yeah.
And then
I I love that they did like the mash that he does, like the power. I'm just gonna spam this move until it works.
yeah, he has the simplest fighting style, but you can just tell how powerful it is.
It's one arm. I'm just gonna whack you down until you give up, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh no.
Nothing.
There was one thing I saw too, like when he was fighting all three of them at one point, it was like he did such a cool move where obviously he's just one hand, and he like spins his hand around to block somebody's, and then it's like just right back. I thought it was just so sick, and like you said, he just powerhouse in them, and it makes sense though, because you think about it, Vader is like full, almost essentially full machine. So
Yeah.
he just has like the power that's coming from just these robotic limbs. I can imagine with Anakin's power, it's probably insane.
True. There was one moment that I was a little surprised by. and it was a moment of Maul power when Vader stopped Maul's saber, and then Maul stopped Vader's saber. I was pretty surprised that Maul had the power, at least in that moment. Maybe it was like a desperation. You busted like all your force out, but that was an interesting moment. And then, what you think of like the aftermath? Well, I guess there was the aftermath of Devin making that turn of using the rage. She fought that Inquisitor. What you think of that moment?
I
I
thought
didn't really. Oh, sorry, but you go
no,
on.
you're good. You're good to go.
Because I didn't really feel like it helped her that much in the moment. I still felt like she was kind of getting bodied until Maul jumped in. And I get she doesn't have like all the training, but it like the dark side didn't really do a ton for her there.
That's
Yeah,
pretty fair. No, go ahead, Pete.
no, I think you're 100% right, and I think it's because she's almost like even when Anakin would get super just angry, and he wouldn't be like essentially his best, even though like everybody says tap into the dark side, you'll be a lot stronger. I don't think it's because they've like known how to master it. I think that's what Darth Maul is going to teach her. She just needs to be able to tap into it so he can train her how to like use that power to her favor. And I love that Maul was kind of just sitting back watching to see how she would react and if she would tap into like the anger and rage.
So I wanted to bring up a point on dark side rage versus Jedi mastery. So
Mm-hmm.
what is more powerful? Because I think how I view it in my mind is baseline, they're here. If you use the dark side and rage, it boosts you way here. But if you can master the Jedi way, it puts you above the dark side. I guess, do you guys agree with that scale?
I think I'm right. I kind of do, but I also think like I think Sith is just up top. I think it's higher than Jedi Master just because if you think
Interesting.
of like Palpatine and being able to my knowledge, besides before Rey came in, there was no Jedi that could shoot lightning out of her hand. Like we
Yeah.
saw Count Dooku do it as well as Palpatine before Rey. And it's like, I don't know if I thought that was strictly like a Sith tapped into dark side thing that a Jedi could never do. Maybe they could stop it like Yoda did if you had enough
Mhm.
experience with the Force, but I think Sith is above any Jedi Master with power.
Interesting. Sam, what do you think of that?
So I actually 100% agree with Pate here. I think Sith peaks way higher, but I think the floor is way lower. Whereas I think Jedi is more of like the safer, like middle ground, just because you've seen so many more powerful Siths, I think faster. Whereas Jedi, it takes so long to build it up to be able to take down the Sith.
That's fair because in my mind, I know the most powerful Sith have gotten defeated by powerful Jedi. So like that's where are they the strongest? Or there's other factors at play. Like, did Luke tap into a little bit of the dark side when he beat Vader at the end? Did Vader let up because it's his son? Or I guess Obi-Wan versus Anakin the first time, Anakin wasn't mastered in the dark side yet, so it was pretty raw. And then I guess you could go Yoda versus Palpatine in episode 3. Who won that? I don't really know. It was kind of like a skewed little fight, but you guys make good points. You make good points there. I
Yeah,
think
one
the,
other thing
the
actually.
Sith is like steroids. Like the dark side's like steroids. It just gets you there faster. But I think years of training will peak higher. But I guess in real life, you won't peak as high as the steroids. You need a little bit
That's
of both. But
and one other thing I just thought about it. In like Sith, if you think about it, they're always almost in a 2-on-1. Like they're pretty much
true.
trained to always take on two Jedi, a Jedi master and his apprentice at all times. So I think also their powers higher because they can do that. I think
that,
pretty easily from what we've seen, at least in the prequels. Like Count Dooku took out Anakin and Obi-Wan, no issue, and then Darth Maul
mhm.
obviously got taken out, but he held his own and took out the Master.
That's a fair point. That's they're always in some sort of 2-on-1. You're right. The I wanted to so going back to the episode, the last thing I wanted to talk about was like a little bit of the ending. My man Lawson. I'll start with you, Sam. Do you think Lawson is dead when he went into the smoke and did the sacrifice with the gun? Do you think
If
he's
he
dead?
isn't, if he isn't dead, I'm gonna be upset. I mean, he's standing in the open. There's 10 people shooting at him, and he's just shooting into a field. That move has never worked. I promise you, that move's never worked. If he's alive, I am going to be quite upset. And, they do the cheesy, oh, I'm going to save my son. Yeah, that's great. But that better be the last I see of him.
Pay, what do you think? Do you think he's alive? I thought that was good, Sam.
Dude, I'm right there with Sam, but since this is Star Wars, that dude's 100% still alive.
100%.
He's gonna come back in season 2, and he's 100% still alive. He might be half robotic, but he's still alive.
If he's still alive, I want to come back on, and you'll get the biggest crash out from me you've ever seen. You'll get 10 minutes of me just screaming because there's not even a shield. That gun doesn't have any more ammo. And it just keeps going. It broke the gun. The stormtrooper using it was dead. It was in 2 pieces.
Yeah, no, that's fair. There's about 30 stormtroopers there ripping shots too. There's fucking flying. They have the ships. They're shooting.
Yeah.
But to Peyton's point, it is Star Wars. And to your point earlier, he was the one that saw Maul push the Jedi. But I could see him be captured by the Sith or by the Empire, and then we get a nice scene next season of the mother or the wife, the ex-wife, right? She's gonna be conflicted, and she's gonna break him out of Empire prison.
I think I'm right there with you. I think that's exactly where it's going to go and why he's still alive. And with him being the only one to see what Maul did, they got to tie that in somehow.
Yeah.
I know he will be alive. That's the worst part.
Yeah. No, that is it. So then we get that, and then we get the getaway, and we get the final little she is ready for the training, and we get the start of season. We get the lead into season 2. So Sam, we'll start with you. What do you expect in season 2? What do you want to see? What do you think's gonna happen? What do you think it's gonna go?
So before I came on, I was running through some things with my friend Derek, and I had some questions for him, and I'd like to run it by you guys. So for me in season 2, a lot of the stuff they're kind of boxed in, right? Like how the 2 Inquisitors die. He obviously doesn't kill Vader, and he doesn't kill Palpatine. So who is going to be the person he defeats that boosts like his aura? Because the 4 main guys I feel like are pretty stuck. Like you could get fights and we could get the getaways again, but I want to know who that guy is going to be, that or girl that he fights, that really like boosts him up to show like Maul still has it.
Yeah.
True. That is a very fair point.
Because like we talked about it before, like the 2 Inquisitors you already saw die. And so obviously, he doesn't kill him. I feel like they kind of put themselves in a box for season 2. The other thing I was talking to him about was Darth Talion. Like that's the progression I think everybody thinks. But he was saying that like in Rebels, Maul is looking for another apprentice.
Yeah.
So what happens to Devin? Does she go on a trip? Does she get lost? Like, and then does she come back? Like that, I want to see what happens with her the most, knowing that he's going to be looking for a new apprentice pretty soon.
I just thought of something too with you saying that. Because also in Rebels and what is it? Darth Maul's like whole thing is Obi-Wan. I want to get revenge on Obi-Wan. In this show, we've only seen him talk about getting revenge on Palpatine, the Sith Lord. So I wonder if they tie that in season 2, where somehow Obi-Wan comes in again, and maybe he kills Devin, and that's what sparks his rage again towards Obi-Wan, because that's how we know it ends for Darth Maul in Rebels. So I think they have to tie in Obi-Wan somewhere to have him have this rage again towards Obi-Wan instead of the Sith Lord.
I really like that theory, Pete, but I think they're too boxed in because he's on Tatooine at the start of the Obi-Wan show, and it seems like he's been there ever since. So I don't know how they can get that, but that would make a ton of sense if they could somehow play it that way. My initial theory is that Vader's going to kill Devin next season.
Yeah.
That's the only way that she can get out of the picture. Because I didn't watch Rebels. I know the end of Rebels because I know, Sam, you don't know the end of what happens to Maul.
Well,
But
now I do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't even thinking. I'm sorry.
I guess I'll go watch the scene after
My
this.
bad. My bad.
Well, either way, they're boxing because the next chronological timeline is he has a cameo in Solo,
Mhm.
where he is leading the Crimson Dawn. That's the only thing we get. And then the next time we see him is in Rebels. There's this second season is just that gap. So I wanted to ask the question. I'll start with you, Pate. Do you think for sure Vader will be in season 2?
Ooh. I feel like with your point, it makes a lot more sense for Vader to kill Devin. So I think yes, because we are really boxed in with
Mm-hmm.
knowing the plot of how everything unfolds. I think that's probably has to happen because I don't know where Obi-Wan could even come into play. I don't know if we know exactly what happens to Obi-Wan and how he gets to Tatooine. I don't know if they touch base on that. I completely forget, to be honest. But that's like
I
my only two theories.
Yeah, at least I know at the end of episode 3 he's on Tatooine, and then at um the start of Obi-Wan he's on Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Do you
timeline, I don't know.
do you think there's a chance that Sidious could kill Devin, where it's like Sidious has taken everything from Maul, so like one more thing for him to take?
That's that's a solid theory. I just can't see Sidious. He's
Showing up,
got
right?
Yeah, I see him. He's got Vader, and there's no
Yeah.
need for him to show up in that aspect.
Do you think we get like a cameo of him at all, though?
I do. I think we get something with Sidious, probably Vader talking to him. I also want to bring this up. What do you guys think of Vader not having a single line of dialogue?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I was super disappointed because, like, as we were talking about last episode, I thought they were gonna talk and have this deep conversation, and when
Yeah.
Darth Vader didn't say a word, I was like, "Wow, that ruined my whole theory on that." I thought they'd have this cool dialogue back and forth, and Vader just didn't
Yeah.
say a word. It really added to. I loved how they did it because it really just shows, like, I don't know, this guy's like so mysterious and such a badass. They don't know
Mhm.
who he is. I thought that part was cool that he didn't talk.
I think that conversation could happen next season. I do, because I think, Sam, you brought up a great point. Like, who is going to be the big bad for Maul to defeat to get that aura? My only thought is it's going to go heavy into, and I don't know if I necessarily love this. I think they're going to go heavy back into like the gangster aspect of him
Mhm.
becoming a criminal underlord and taking out all those gangsters. But I'll be honest, I don't care as much about that. After you gave me the whole Maul Vader action scene, I don't want to see him body regular Joe Schmoes.
Right. It's like a step down. And I guess the other thing I have on that, like, what's the point of the little guy they have walking around anymore? Like, yeah, I felt like he was important, and then it was like, oh, I got this communication. Now we can get saved. It's like, okay, that's clearly like a throw-in, and nobody's looking for him, and you have this smuggling business. So I'm kind of done with you. I
Yeah,
feel like he's just a waste at this point.
no, 100%. Well, who else is alive that's on Team Maul? There's him,
The kid,
the kid.
Devin, and him.
Yeah, so their crew's
That's
just
it.
small. So that's why they're going to go, I guess, I think the syndicate route with this guy.
Because the other thing that kind of upset me is when you first saw Vader, he kills the girl like
Mhm.
instantly. Like
Yeah.
she was so important, right? And she just gets killed in like the most unsatisfying way. Like she's just dead.
You didn't even get to see it.
Yeah.
No, she's just off screen. She gets flung, and it's like, oh yeah, remember that person who talked for 9 episodes? She's gone.
And I think she was a big part in the Clone Wars, like towards the end when Maul took over Mandalore. I think she
Mm,
was like a big reason to convince the other Mandalorians to be loyal to Maul.
Right, and
I
that's
think.
That's the death we get. Like, okay, it's
Yeah.
Vader. I get it. You know, I'm fine if it's Vader, but give me something more. Like, can I be on screen?
Like at least see her
Mhm.
helmet roll back, like with her head chopped off or something. Like, give me
That's what I
something.
was waiting. Yeah, I wanted like the head to roll out. That's what I was waiting
Just the
for.
helmet, like Jango Fett in
Yeah.
episode 2. Just the helmet roll back.
Yeah, no, I agree. But so overall, phenomenal show. I was never the biggest Maul guy. And I know Sam, I think
Whoa.
you said you were a big Maul guy. Pete, I know you're a
Yeah.
big Maul guy. I don't know. I always thought he was just Maul. And this show added a lot of context to him. But the dilemma I'm facing is like, am I rooting for him? There was a point in this where I was, and now I'm not really. And again, it's tough knowing the ending. I wanted to ask you to this, Pate, as someone who
Yeah.
didn't watch Rebels. Does this show, and even you, Sam, we'll start with you, Pate, though. Does this show make you want to watch Rebels?
I was literally thinking that. I was like, I think I need to go watch Rebels now. It makes me
Mm-hmm.
want to watch more of Maul. I even want to watch Clone Wars. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's a project and a mission to watch that, but I feel like it's got some good stuff and probably a ton of fillers with just how many seasons and episodes. But I'm so intrigued about Maul now and want to know more and see him take over Mandalore because I know that happens. That's got to be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to see more for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely super intrigued by that. Sam, any thoughts, final thoughts on Maul, the whole season going forward, other Star Wars?
I got two for you. So to start with Maul, the one thing I did like about it is that he doesn't like blame himself for everything happening around him that's bad. Like his anger is so targeted. I love that
Mhm.
he just is so delusional and doesn't realize like all the death around him, like it's his fault, but he
Yeah.
still blames Sidious. And I love that he can keep that rage. Like not every villain needs to be likable. I think
Mhm.
that's a good place to start. But the only other Star Wars now I want to watch is Ahsoka, to be honest with you, because I want to see that because clearly she's like very powerful and important in the universe. And I've never seen or heard of her until I started watching Maul when I figured out how the Inquisitors died.
Mhm. So that's one. I didn't watch Clone Wars and I didn't watch Rebels, and those are very Ahsoka based. And from everything my understanding, she is like top five most powerful Jedi. And I really know nothing about her. I know that the animated people die hard love her, and then obviously there's the
Mhm.
Ahsoka show. But I feel like I can't watch the show without knowing her whole backstory leading up to the show. And I know in the show she fights different Inquisitors and stuff like that. So I think she might even show up in Mandalorian in 2 weeks. So I might have to do some research. So that is a good point. I do. It makes me intrigued with Ahsoka now.
For sure.
Yeah, just because she's not in any of the movies, like I don't understand what happened to her. And when I was talking to Derek, he kind of explained a little bit to me, but it it still intrigues me.
Oh, I got one other thing I thought about. I loved how they shot episode 10. It felt like a traditional like Star Wars movie, like prequels, where it's
Mm,
going to the group of people that are just doing like your normal fighting, and then it goes
yeah.
to your Jedi's fighting back and forth. Like it just made me think of Phantom Menace, how they shot it, where it was like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon fighting Maul. Then it goes to Anakin in space. Then it goes to the fight that they're having with Jar Jar and the droids. I just love that it was going back and forth. Like it just felt very Star Wars, like you're watching a Star Wars movie.
That's a very good point. That's such a Star Wars trope when like the Sith and the Jedi are fighting and they lock sabers and then it's a cutaway
Yeah,
and you get the regular guy shooting the guns. That is a great point. Um, I had one final thought, and yesterday was May the 4th, and there was a tweet that blew up, and I don't know how true it is, but there's a rumor going around that they're considering r- eliminating everything after episode 6, or at least episode 7, 8, and 9, and making them not canon anymore, and making them not part of the universe anymore, and it's kind of starting over. Do I
wow.
think they would do that? Probably not. It's because it's billions and billions of dollars, but there's a lot of theories with it. One, there's new studio execs that just took over Star Wars, so they realized they bombed it. I saw a big thing with toy sales have tanked because no one's buying any of like the new characters' toys. Another one was on May the 4th, they broke down by generation what the most watched Star Wars thing they watched on May the 4th was. And every single generation, not a single one was episode 7, 8, or 9. So that was pretty
Yeah.
interesting. So what did you guys? I'll start with you, Pete. What would you think of that idea of them eliminating 7, 8, and 9 and starting kind of fresh?
Wow, that is music to my ears. I would love to see that. I don't just think it's feasible. The only reason why is like when I think of like Disney World and their Star Wars land, it is so heavy around
Hmm.
episode 7, 8, and 9, and that's got to be a big moneymaker for them. And to change like their rides and universe around, I think that would be expensive to do. And then obviously erase these movies. I don't know how you do it. I would love to see it, but I just don't know if there's like a feasible way to do it.
Hmm.
I mean, they're obviously so bad, right? Like they're
Yeah.
just terrible. But if you do it and then they're equally as bad, like that's just way more of a nightmare. It, I don't know. You're just stuck with it. We all accepted it. None of us are gonna ever watch them again.
Mhm.
You just kind of have to. The My biggest criticism is they're so boxed in on the universe. They have to expand it, and I think they're at least trying to do that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that's where I think a big mistake is the first movie in I think it's 9 years, 8 years, 7 years, somewhere like that, is Mandalorian. And I really like the show, but I don't know how you guys feel. I feel like the buzz is not there for a Star Wars movie coming out in 2 weeks for the
I
first
feel
time
like
in
they
years.
missed it.
Yeah, I
They're
agree.
they're
So
so late on it.
the next movie that they have, the only movie they have announced is Starfighter, which takes place after Episode 9. And in my opinion, they just have to go into a brand new direction. The universe is so big that they have to start over. But my only gripe is I think what's essential to Star Wars is lightsabers. And you need sabers in movies. I don't care about. Yes, I would be interested in other characters and stuff like that, but I need Sith and I need Jedi. That's what Star Wars is. So at least that's my opinion on that.
Absolutely, I'm right there with you. They did a
Yeah.
I bet they're really regretting the way they did their movies.
Mhm.
Obviously, it was great, but I don't think we're expecting how successful that they would be. That they kind of screwed themselves, especially with putting out Rebels and these other shows. They were kind of just throwing anything out there at one
Yeah.
point, just hoping something stuck with the fans and that the fans liked. And now they have to like reverse engineer and try to figure out how we can put a story in this section that's missing and make it tie in and make sense to what we already know.
Hmm. They just have to expand. The only thing I'm dying to see, it's based off an old video game, is Knights of the Old Republic. So I think 1,000 years before Episode 1. That's what I want to see when there's hundreds of Jedi and there's hundreds of Sith. And it's like all out war. It's like medieval times kind of. That I would be super interested in seeing. But I don't know.
Because
That
then
would be
from
sick.
you could expand so much from there. Like there's new characters, and you're still getting like, as you said, lightsabers, and you're still getting a full story where you're not.
Yeah.
Because even if you expand now, right? There, like obviously what you see is the top. So then, do you really care about anything like lower level?
Hmm.
It just might not intrigue anyone.
And have you guys seen one Jedi yet or a Sith like actually make their lightsaber and get a kyber crystal in a show or a movie? I don't think they've ever showed it. Like
No.
they've done nothing with like the backstory of like these Jedi getting their lightsabers or the first Jedi to ever figure out the Force. And I think going back to that time frame with like the Knights of the Old Republic would be their best bet. Just keep 7, 8, and 9, unfortunately, as canon, and just go way back before all
Yeah.
of this. So you essentially have a brand new story that you can do whatever you want with since it's just so back in the past and you can
Hmm.
touch on all these things that were never touched on, like Jedi's figuring out the Force and Sith figuring out the dark side, and somebody creating a lightsaber with a kyber crystal and making it what color they want. I don't know. I think that would be cool just to see.
So do I. I think that's great. Did any of you guys watch Acolyte?
No.
No.
No. They fucking botched that show. Let me tell you, there was so many good ideas, and it could have been so cool, but they fucking botched that. They had
Damn.
Plagueis in at the end. I don't know if you guys know Darth Plagueis. He
I've
had a
heard
little
of it.
cameo at the end, and it's either way. But Star Wars, you put out a banger. We love them all. Best thing Star Wars has put out in the last 20 years is Andor. I will die on a hill for that one. I loved
Really?
it.
I need to
Yeah.
watch that. I've never watched it.
No, really. That is the best Star Wars content since episode 6,
I
in
see
my
Sam
opinion.
shaking his head as
You'll hate to find out I turned it off after like
Eh.
season 2, episode 2.
How many seasons
Yeah.
are there?
Just
I think
two.
it's just too. Yeah, I couldn't make it through it.
Damn, I gotta watch that then. And there's no lightsabers, right? Is
No
my
lightsabers.
understanding.
So I guess shoot me, stab me right in the back. I just went on a whole rant. My favorite thing is there was no lightsabers, but highly recommend Andor. You got to watch that.
I
I would
do.
love to hear your opinion on it. It's different though. It's like
Don't let me deter you.
Oh, something just came to my mind too. Have you guys played or seen anything from Jedi Survivor or Jedi Fallen Order with Cal Kestis?
I played the first game. I never played after that.
Imagine they somehow bring in Cal Kestis to the Darth Maul world, because I don't know if the timelines line up. I know it's after Order 66 and Inquisitors are around in Fallen Order, but imagine we see Cal in a show or make an appearance. I think that would be really cool. I have no idea how they would do it. That's just full fan wanting to see that.
I think that the timelines do line up. I'm not obviously an expert, but I think that's a great theory. That makes a ton of sense. And maybe she's the one that kills Devin.
Yeah, that would be so sick to see.
Yeah.
So you guys are fully out on Devin being Darth Talion.
So I'll be honest, I don't really know much about her. I know of the character, and I know like she becomes his apprentice and everything. And I don't know where it ends up. I just don't know where she would end up in the timeline if she fully becomes it.
Because
Yeah,
it's just the look similarity, and it's like you're gonna find another, I guess, Jedi to turn who looks exactly like her.
Mm-hmm.
It feels improbable. So again, I think season 2 should just focus on that storyline.
Yeah, and I think that's where they'll go. But again, to Peyton's point, they're tied in with when you see him in Rebels, he's looking for an apprentice. So she could still be alive and left him, or she got too powerful and like dumped him, and that's why he's all alone. So that could be a way. I am super intrigued. I don't know timeline on how much is left of like the time period, and I don't know when season 2 is coming out, but I'll be looking forward to it. I can tell you that.
I did see that we don't have to wait very long for season 2, which was the good thing. They were already started making it, unless I got fooled here, but I did see we're in progress.
Love to hear that.
Absolutely.
So, any other final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Oh, I'm good. I think besides Sam, I can't think of his. Or wait, is it Sam that I'm thinking of? The voice actor for Maul, Sam Witwer or something.
Yes, yep, Sam Witwer.
That dude's the goat for carrying. He carries. I guess he carries a lot of Clone Wars too. He's like voice acts a lot of different characters, and I think he crushes it as Maul. So just shout out to him real quick.
Absolutely.
I do love that Maul's British. That's my favorite part.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that, but you're right. But well, thank you guys for tuning in. Sam, we appreciate you joining on, a little special guest.
I appreciate you guys having me.
We'll probably have you on when all our shows are ending pretty soon. So we plan on just doing random episodes, and I'd love to do a Star Wars episode with you, Sam, where we just do like top 5 Star Wars characters or some fun topics like that, because you have bold opinions, and I love that, and I think it'll balance well.
You need the casual fan in there.
Yeah,
we do, because me and Anthony are like kind of line up perfectly on everything. We
Yeah.
don't get to have good banter back and forth against each other's opinions.
I'll throw in some curveballs for you. Don't worry.
Good.
excited
Well, so
to hear it.
if you guys like this episode, please drop some comments below. Let us know if you have any thoughts, theories on Maul, or our timeline's all messed up. Are we absolute idiots? Just let us know. Comment below. We don't claim to be experts. We try to give you some entertaining content and some good thoughts. But thank you guys for tuning in, and stay tuned if you made it all the way to the end to our fabulous 20 subscribers. We have another boys episode dropping tomorrow about episode 6 of the boys. So we'll see you then. Thank you guys.